Ready to discover our latest Style of Zug exclusive edition? Hey Goodfellas, I'm Naldi and we are at Style of Zug. This whole idea started when Nino Marino of Delta told me, Samuel, it's here again, the DV oversize. One of the most iconic writing instruments created in the last 40 years. We at Style of Zug immediately ordered it and we sold plenty of those. What's special about the DV? It's that in a period dominated by black, gray and silver pens, an Italian manufacturer from Naples decided to create a classic with an orange marbled barrel mixed with a black cap. A mix of colors that actually recalls the Dolce Vita. And this newly re-released DV was exactly what many collectors have been waiting for. Oversized with a beautiful 18-karat gold nib. And so then suddenly, because we were so successful with it, I wanted to order more pieces. And then Nino Marino tells me,
yeah, but the fine oversized nibs are delayed. But if you desire, I can insert an original vintage embossed Delta oversized 14K gold nib. Wow. What do you think?
And I reply saying, wait, what? And he tells me, yeah, I have this very limited selection of these nibs available. They were part of the Delta stock. So I told him, Nino, you have 14-karat vintage Delta embossed oversized nibs. And so yes, he confirms once again.
Very few, just few nibs. Just 9 fine, 9 extra fine, 9 medium, and 9 stud.
And so I tell him, Nino, wait, don't use these nibs. Please don't sell these nibs. I am coming. So I take a flight to Naples to see these nibs in person and discover these wonderful oversized nibs made back in the early 2000s. We talked, brainstormed, discussed, and we came up with the idea of creating a Style of Zug exclusive based on the Dolce Vita oversize with this last original vintage Delta nibs. But then, it was all about how are we going to make that a Style of Zug edition? Because the editions we do always must have a story, there must be an idea behind it, there must be something really emotional and strong that every time you pick that pen, you're saying like, wow, I'm so happy, it feels powerful. So, first thing I asked Nino, would it be possible to take our gray Pantone color of Style of Zug and to create a barrel in that specific gray? And Nino tells me, give me a few months and we'll be ready to produce. Actually, I remember I was in Pforzheim visiting Otto Huth when we had this call. So I go back to Style of Zug, we finalize the last technical details of the pen and we discuss all of this via video call with Nino and with Gianfranco Raimo, which is the engineer of the company. He's part of Delta and always comes up with the best solutions. And then I asked Nino and I told him, Nino, I would like this Dolce Vita to be a piston filling mechanism instead of a converter cartridge like you have on the Dolce Vita oversize. And usually the Italians love to put the ink window underneath the cap. And I asked him, would it be possible if we create an ink window, we need to have an ink window, but I want the ink window to be hidden when you close the cap, so that when you open up the cap, you start discovering the ink and everything feels just more like a discovery. And Nino, of course, knowing the strength of Gianfranco, just tells me,
I'll talk with the production and make it happen, okay?
So fantastic, everything was ready. We had to decide the feed, because you know that Delta produces their own ebonite in-house feeds. So I asked him, okay, what color could fit a nice gray, what if not a nice burgundy ebonite feed to be put underneath of this wonderful vintage Delta nib. But then again, I wanted more than just a pen. And I wanted our Goodfellas to feel courage whenever they picked up this pen. And I was thinking of a sentence, of a quote that would give an extra boost when things get tough. And I also want this sentence to be recurring on other editions that we will be doing specifically for Style of Zug with any other brand. And so I think about it, and I'm just like, okay, it's simple. There's no fear in the heart of a writer. A sentence that stimulates us to write down our fears, failures, challenges, free our minds, and take the right decisions to succeed, knowing that success is nothing more than the amounts of failures and frustrations that we are able to overcome. And actually, this is the powerful thing about a writing instrument. The fact that with a writing instrument, we can write down all our fears, and when we write down those fears, those problems, they suddenly disappear. It's really therapeutical. And so at first I thought, okay, we're gonna put it in English. Then I say, no, you know what? We'll have to do it in Italian. Non esiste paura nel cuore di uno scrittore. And I tell Nina, okay, we're gonna put this. And he's like, okay, perfect, where are we gonna put it? We're gonna put it next to the piston knob. And then I was watching Totò, the most important Neapolitan comedian, and I had this eureka moment. But I was like, okay, but Delta is in Naples. And Neapolitan is such an important and romantic and poetic and musical language. We're not gonna write it in English. We're not gonna write it in Italian. We are going to write it in Neapolitan. And so I called Nino and say, Nino, can you stop the production? We need to do this sentence in Neapolitan. And he says, okay, I'm gonna call a friend of mine, poet, and we're gonna ask him to translate this sentence in correct poetic Neapolitan. And so he comes out with following.
Non esiste paura, rindo core uno scrittore.
So now we were really ready to make it happen. I take another flight to go to Naples. We check out the last steps of production. We decide the packaging together. It was really incredible to experience the Neapolitan manufacturing of Delta and seeing how this piece became reality from a simple idea by using the heart of this whole project, which is the 36 vintage embossed oversized 14-karat gold nibs of Delta. And I'm almost ready to actually explain the writing instrument throughout. This was more about the story behind the writing instrument. Before I go to that, I did have a last doubt. How are we going to name it? At first I was like, well, we're gonna call it DVX Style of Zug. But then Nina said, come on, Samuel, you can do better than that. And then first thing I was thinking, okay, Dolce Vita. And what came to my mind was a song that Old Blue Eyes was singing called The Good Life. And we all immediately got excited and said, yes, this is it. The Delta Good Life by Style of Zug. So here we are, Goodfellas, ready to unveil it. The Delta Good Life by Style of Zug. It's in front of me. It's a Style of Zug gray fountain pen with rhodium-plated metal trims, with the engraving of the nib size on the back of the cap. Above the nib size there is the name of the model, Good Life, and each one is marked 1 di 9, 1 of 9. Everyone who's gonna get an extra fine, a medium, or a stub, you're going to have the nib size engraved on the back of the cap, because that is where the concept comes from, and it's going to be marked with 1 of 9, because you'll be the lucky owner of 1 of the 9 available pens with the vintage embossed nib of Delta. On the bottom of the pen, next to the piston knob, we find the sentence Non esiste paura di indogore e no scrittore. When uncapping the fountain pen, you'll discover the ink window and the heart of this writing instrument, the wonderful oversized nib of Delta. And then on the back, fitted with a burgundy-colored ebonite in-house made feed. And what is special about the piston filling mechanism is that they actually developed this in-house. So this was a development of Gianfranco Raimo of Delta, and so this is very special. The piston knob is made at Delta. It does feel like very handmade, very rough, and that's kind of what I like about this writing instrument. It's so handmade, it's real handmade. Everything about this pen, I've seen it with my eyes at Delta, is actually made by hand by one of their artisans. And how does it write? Well, it has that 2000 feeling, with the nib being very precise, with a nice ink flow, whether it's extra fine, fine, medium, or stub. And what's amazing is that you can get all of this for 920 Swiss francs, excluding Swiss VAT. So hurry up if you'd like to get yours. It's now up on our website. The link is in the description and in the comment section. The pens are here in stock. ready to be shipped out. So in the next days, we'll be shipping out everything, and we can't wait for you to get this wonderful Style of Zug edition made by Delta called Good Life. And we're gonna end up this in this way. Kiss that good life. Goodbye.